In this video, I'm going to be going over with you guys how to stay consistent in the gym this winter. I'm assuming that, if you're a skinny young guy watching this video, you're most likely at the start of your journey, and what you need to realize is consistency is the key. Consistency is the thing that's going to bridge the gap from you right now to you making progression when summer comes around and you may want to lose a bit of body fat and look good on the beach. So consistency is the number one thing you've got to knuckle down on, right? You've got to knuckle down on getting consistent in the gym. So that is exactly what I'm going to be going through in this video today. And there's some things that are so simple that you don't even think about that are so crucial in order to stay consistent with the gym and building on that consistent routine in order to get results over time. And that is what it's all about, right? But before we get into this video, I just want to briefly introduce myself to you guys if you don't know who I am already, because I'm telling you how to do stuff, so I think it's pretty important, right? So my name is Ryan. I'm a 19-year-old from the UK, and I've undergone a physical and mental transformation over the past 3 years, taking myself from looking like this in 2021 to looking like this now in 2024. And I'm on a mission to help and inspire skinny guys to bulk and gain weight and to sculpt their physiques as efficiently as physically possible, because as you guys just saw, I was once in that position 3.5 years ago as well, skinny and wanting to sculpt physique. So basically, I just want to help as many skinny young men change their lives as possible. Now, in order to help me do this, I've recently just launched my very own free online community called the Slim to Sculpt Alliance, in order to help connect as many like-minded brothers that are on the same journey as possible, to hold each other accountable, and most importantly, I teach you and I guide you how to sculpt your physique. So if you seem interested in that, then it's going to be the top link in the description. But without further ado, as of now, let's get into this video. So the first thing that I want to go over is actually acknowledging the reality of the gym, acknowledging that it takes time, because you don't want to delude yourself into thinking that it's a quick fix, because the gym isn't a quick fix. The gym is a long-term game, and you have to play the game how it's meant to be played, right? If you think it's a quick fix and you think you're going to get results in a really short period of time, and if you think that you're going to, you're going to go to the gym for a couple of months, see results, and then you don't have to do too much, right? Then it's not going to work out for you. You've got to realize that you need to put in consistent efforts over a long period of time. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Does money grow off trees? No, it doesn't. You've got to work for it, right? It's the exact same thing with the gym. All right, a good physique doesn't come to you like that, okay? It comes over time, and only the people who deserve a good physique achieve a good physique. And if sculpting your physique was a quick and easy fix, why is obesity one of the biggest killers in the world today, okay? Why is everyone not in shape? Because it's fucking hard, okay? It's not a quick fix. It's not an overnight fix. It's not it's not a fix you can make in a week. It's not a fix you can make in a matter of a month. It takes years, okay? But you've got to use that as fuel. You've actually got to use that to excite you, because you're embarking on this really exciting journey ahead, okay? So don't use that to sort of daunt you. Use that to excite you, and use that to fuel you for, because you're going to be changing your life for the better, and you're going to be changing yourself for the better and leveling yourself up. So don't necessarily let this intimidate you that it actually takes time and it's not a quick fix, because I understand why a lot of people misinterpret this, and I'm going to get onto that in just a second. But I completely understand it, because in this generation today, it's so easy to fix things quickly. You're stimulated all the time, constantly. And if you want sweets, you can just go to the shop and buy some. If you want a takeaway and you feel like some fast food, you can just go and get a takeaway at Domino's, for example, down the road, right? There's so many quick fixes. So many people are used to that instant gratification, but what you've got to realize is that the gym is all about delayed gratification, because as I have been saying, and as the facts and as it is, right, the reality is that the gym is a long-term game. And I've made a couple of videos on my channel more explaining into this topic in particular, so if you're interested in them, then you can go and find them on my channel. But for now, I just want to go over, it takes time, so you have to be consistent with the gym. So basically, just actually acknowledging the truth And the thing I want to get into now is how, so many people quit because they actually don't know this. And you may think that, you may think, oh yeah, obviously I know that, but are you actually putting it into action? Have you actually been able to stay consistent with the gym? Most likely not, because you're watching this video and, I'm calling you out, but for the better, because now it's going to hold you accountable, okay? So yeah, so many people quit because they just delude themselves into thinking that, it's going to take a couple of months and I'm going to look like this guy, or I'm going to look like this guy, when in reality, the guys that they think they're going to look like have been going to the gym for 5 years plus, training harder than them, locking in their diet, have a consistent schedule, waking up early, doing all these good habits, and they think they're going to look like them in a matter of months. It doesn't work like that, and the likelihood of those guys being on steroids as well is going to be very high, okay? So you've got to realise that this takes time, because if you delude yourself into thinking that this process happens a lot quicker than it is, then you're most likely going to quit, because when you get to, however long it is down the line that you think you're going to sculpt your physique by, when you actually get there and you realise that you're not where you want to be, it could demotivate you, and it could, it could make you feel disappointed in yourself, and it could make you look down on yourself, which is, first of all, not what you want to do, because you've been putting in hard work for a decent period of time, right? Say in 6 months you thought you were going to look magnificent, and but in reality you're not necessarily looking like where you want to be. You don't want to look down on yourself, because you're still putting in hard work and you've still changed. But if you delude yourself into thinking that this stuff doesn't take time, and all of that stuff, then the chances of you feeling that way is going to be very high. Therefore, you may not necessarily associate a good with the gym, which is going to lead to you quitting, and then you're going to get in this constant relapsing cycle of struggling to stay consistent. So the first thing that I wanted to go over is that you've got to acknowledge that this takes time, and you've got to acknowledge that good results come over from consistent effort over a prolonged period of time. Okay, so that's the first thing that I want to get into. So now, the first proper thing that I want to get into, regarding how to stay consistent, is don't do too much too soon. This is a huge mistake that I see lots of gym goers in their beginning stages make. When I started the gym, I wasn't necessarily, going 5 times a week. I wasn't necessarily training to failure all the time. I didn't necessarily, I didn't have the best routine, but I was still showing up and I was still going. It's not about, right? It's not about sticking to a high demanding routine and doing all of this stuff that people 5 years down the line are doing, okay? Because the reality is, when those people started that you're following, they weren't doing that. They didn't have a clue what they were doing. They probably didn't have a proper routine. So what I'm trying to say here is, when you're at the starting phase of your gym journey, don't try and do the most, okay? You've got to build it up slowly, okay? Let me ask you a question. If sorry, let me, my brain's just completely fogged out, right? If you can't stick to a high demanding routine, oh my god, if you can't stick to a low demanding routine, what is the point in you trying to stick to a high demanding routine? What is the point in trying to go to the gym 5 times a week with a consistent schedule that's pretty strict, when you can't even go to the gym twice a week with not a consistent schedule? Okay, you've got to build it up slowly, and you've got to build this relationship with yourself, because if you can't commit to this stuff, then you're just damaging the relationship with yourself. Therefore, how on earth do you think you're going to stick to a consistent routine that I do, for example, right? You've got to build this up, and this is what I tell the people in my community. This is what I tell the boys, right? You've got to build it up slowly. It's not all about doing the most as quick as you possibly can, right? Because remember what I was saying about how to play the game. It's a long-term game. So, you don't want to rush things, because good results don't come like that, right? So there's no point in rushing it, right? This is what I'm trying to say. And another thing that I want to go into is how, have you guys ever heard the, I don't necessarily know what it is, the not the fairy tale, the story of how slow and steady wins the race with the tortoise and the hare, right? Because most obviously a tortoise is extremely slow, right? That's just tortoises in general, right? When the tortoise and the hare raced, the hare sped off so quickly, and it thought it had so much time on its hands. Therefore, the hare had a little nap because the tortoise was so slow, but the hare just ended up sleeping for too long, and the tortoise actually got to the finish line before the hare. So, slow and steady wins the race. Don't take these big steps, okay? Because honestly, you're just going to end up quitting. It's like, for example, I stopped playing football a year ago, right? If I wanted to get back into football and I You know, I I did it. I started doing week in a life. So Cristiano Ronaldo. How on earth do you think that's going to go for me if I can't even show up to the football pitch twice a week? How do you think the day in the life of Ronaldo for a week is going to it's going to plan out? I'm gonna quit within a week and I'm not going to do anything, right? So you've got to build it up slowly, even if that means going to the gym once a week, twice a week. Slowly build it up because you've got to build that relationship with yourself, and most importantly, you've got to build that consistency. Okay, so that's the second point. You've got to just build it up slowly. Don't do too much too soon. Stick to the low demanding stuff at the start, and then once you've gained that consistency, which is the most important thing that bridges the gap, then you can slowly increase demands, and you're actually going to enjoy it because you're in a consistent routine, and it's going to feel like second nature. So it's going to be a lot easier, I'm telling you. Now, on to the third thing that I want to get into in order to stay consistent with the gym this winter is accountability. Accountability is absolutely crucial. Accountability gives you that extra push when you don't necessarily feel like doing anything. Not just with the gym, but in life. Accountability gives you that extra push when you don't feel like it. And as a matter of fact, when you don't feel like doing something, it's the most important time to get it done, because that is when it really matters, and that is when you really make the true progression, because that means you stay consistent. And obviously, as I say, consistency bridges the gap from you right now to you in March, April, when it starts to get sunny, feeling good about your body, and you're going to walk on that beach in the summer and you're going to feel amazing. Okay, so have accountability, such as have a gym partner to go to the gym with. For example, I've been going to the gym with my best mate for 3.5 years. We've held each other accountable, push each other hard, we push each other beyond failure. We say real shit to each other, right? And it's helped us make a lot of progression. And I'll give you a perfect example of accountability, right? So currently I'm going to the gym at 7:30 in the morning. So yeah, I've already been to the gym. As I'm recording this, it's like 10 a.m. and I've already been to the gym and hit a little cheeky chest session. So feeling absolutely amazing. Fantastic way to start the week on a Monday. I'm filming this as well. And when I wake up at 6:30 every morning, I'm like, oh fuck, I could really do with another 2 hours sleep, right? But then I think about my two mates that I go to the gym with every day that actually go there for 7:30, and I'm like, oh shit, I can't let them down, right? What will they think? What will I think of myself when I'm up and about? Like I know that once I'm up and about, I'll be like, oh shit, why did I not just not be a pussy and just go to the gym, right? So I've got that always in the back of my mind that my mates are going to the gym at the same time. So what's my excuse, right? And another thing as well is, obviously I've got this community going on. As I said at the beginning of the video, I've got over 60 people in there now, and it's not even been a month. So the community is growing slowly but surely, and I love it. People are sharing their wins, holding each other accountable, helping each other. So yeah, as I said, if you want to join that, then that's going to be the top link in the description. But having like-minded people around you is what I'm trying to say. That is a really good form of accountability, because they're striving towards their goal, and as they're like-minded, you're going to have the same goal as them. So you don't want them to work harder than you want to keep going, right? For example, as I've been saying, me and my best mate, right, back in the day, we used to bench a shit ton, right? I'm personally 5'7", and I've always weighed around the biggest the heaviest I've got is 75 kilos, and my best mate is 6'4", like 100 kilos, absolute beast, right? And whenever we bench, he most obviously, used to bench bigger weight than me, because he's bigger and he's stronger, and that always pushed me and that always fueled me. So having a gym partner and having like-minded people around you pushes you that bit more, okay? And you don't realize it until you're actually on your own, okay? Another thing as well that I want to give you guys an example of is someone that you message day to day or whenever you need to do something to hold you accountable to actually get it done, right? I'll give you an example. So one of my good mates, in order to help him stay consistent with running and do 5Ks every day of the week, he was messaging me his 5K time and his screenshot of his run every single day at the end of the day, in order to actually hold himself accountable. And he knew if he didn't message me, he would not have let me down, but sort of let himself down, right? So that's another really good way to do it. If you're not in a routine with the gym yet, then messaging someone who's for example, if someone who's really experienced in the gym, message them, have you been to the gym today, yes or no, and that'll hold you accountable. Another thing as well is implementing a reward and punishment scheme for yourself, right? A good reward punishment scheme I have in my head right now. I wouldn't necessarily suggest using this yet, because you're not, I'm more down the line than you in my journey, right? But how do I word this? I actually do enjoy training legs, right? Whenever I train legs, I do enjoy it, but there's some leg days where I'm just like, for fuck's sake, I can't be arsed, right? But I know I've got to get it done. So I have a little reward punishment scheme in my head where if I don't go and train legs, I can't train chest, and I don't deserve to train chest next week. And obviously that gets me out of bed, and that gets me to the gym, and that gets me training hard and feeling sick on that leg press, okay? So doing stuff like that, holding yourself accountable, can be absolutely crucial, and that could be the difference between you staying consistent and not. So find a gym partner, like-minded people, for example in my community, links down below, someone you message, right? And a reward and punishment scheme, stuff like that is absolutely vital. Okay, now on to the fourth thing, the penultimate thing that I want to go over in order to how to stay consistent in the gym in the winter is rest, right? You may not think it's so simple, but it's so important, right? Rest and recovery is where your muscles actually grow and repair, obviously. And if you don't let your muscles repair, and if you don't rest, then you're not going to let your muscles repair, therefore you're going to hinder growth, right? And if you keep going into sessions without rest, because when you're obviously, as you're a skinny guy, I'm assuming you're bulking, I'm assuming you're eating more, and I've had this as well. I felt that ever since I started bulking around 4 weeks ago, that I'm capable of more often, right? But I've just got to remember that if I don't rest, then A, my muscles aren't going to repair, therefore they can't grow, and secondly, if you don't rest, you're going to burn out, right? And this is awful at your stage of the gym journey. If you don't rest, the likelihood of you burning out and actually needing more rest over a prolonged period of time is going to be a lot higher. And this is really bad at the start of your journey, because burnout is fucking bad, right? I personally haven't had burnout myself, but I've had times obviously where I feel really low on energy but not quite burnout. But when you have a burnout and when you're really low on energy, you just don't want to do anything apart from just sit in your bed all day and just do absolutely nothing, right? If you have this at the start of your gym journey, then you're probably going to start to associate the gym with the burnout and the bad experiences. And what I've heard from people that have actually burnt out before, it is awful. Like, you don't want to do anything for weeks on end, right? And you don't want that, do you? Because that's going to affect other parts of your life too. For example, your work or your school or your social life, all of that stuff. So you've got to make sure you're resting. It's like, I want to put it into really simple terms for you guys. It's like, if humans didn't sleep, we would be absolutely fucked and we wouldn't be able to function properly, right? So we need to sleep in order to function properly. It's like we need to rest from the gym in order to actually repair and grow muscles and obviously avoid burnout. Like, that's the equivalent of how important it is. Obviously, humans need sleep in order to function properly day to day. And if you want to repair and grow muscle and avoid burnout and all this stuff and stay consistent, then rest is that important, right? So just drill it into your head that you need to be able to as much as training's important, make sure you're resting as well. Because I remember at the start of my gym journey, I was so excited about the gym. I was literally going to the gym every day, not giving myself enough rest. But you don't want to be doing that, okay? So what I would highly suggest for you is going to the gym no longer than 5 days a week. Just ensuring you get enough rest, ensuring that you give your body enough downtime every week in order to go again next week and feel just as good, pushing more weights and pushing harder, okay? So that's the fourth thing that I wanted to get into, and that is so important. I've said it in so many videos, hence why it's so important, right? So now on to the final thing. So the fifth way in order to actually stay consistent is, it's not necessarily what you may think. It's more of a mindset thing, right? And before I move on, sorry for my bunged up nose. It's it's the winter season. I haven't actually been ill for ages, so I hope I don't get ill, but my nose is blocked, right? So the final thing that I want to get into is, remember why you started. Remember your why, right? That gives you that internal fire and that internal motivation, which is so crucial for staying consistent. Because there's going to be days where you don't feel like it, and there's going to be days where you wouldn't rather do anything than where you'd rather do anything than go to the gym, right? There's days where you couldn't think of anything worse than going to the gym and you just can't be arsed, but you've got to remember your why. It's so easy to get lost, especially at the start of your gym journey. So remembering your why actually gives you a purpose, therefore it gives you a reason in order to show up, and that also holds you accountable as well. For example, I'll give you a why of mine. Literally, this was on the first day I started the gym, by the way, as well. I was sitting at the dinner table and my mum pinched her arms around my bicep and said something about me being skinny. Like, she was able to go all the way around, and that sort of triggered it for me, and that was always my why. So having something like that, even if you don't have something like that, I'm sure there is something that, you know, you're going to the gym for, because obviously, you know, you're going for yourself, right? So just remember your why, you know, why you started, because that's going to give you that internal motivation and that internal drive to just fucking, you know, just conquer the world, okay? And having a personal meaning behind it can honestly mean so much, okay? So like, honestly, I'll be honest, sometimes it makes me a little bit emotional. I don't really, you know, I don't really speak about it a lot, but, you know, often, like, okay, occasionally when I compare my progress pictures and, you know, me then and me now, and, you know, what I haven't been through too much, but, like, you know, going through the struggles and not feeling like it sort of does make me emotional. I can't really explain it. And I don't really want to be too vulnerable in here, but, you know, it does make me feel a little bit emotional sometimes. But yeah, just remember your why, you know, as to why you started, and that will give you that motivation. And, you know, when you don't feel like it, you're gonna be like, yeah, I know, I don't feel like it, but I'm gonna get it done because I'm not a pussy, I'm not a bitch. I've got to remember that little boy that I was doing it for, and that's another thing that I remember as well. I'm doing it for that 15-year-old version of me who actually wants to achieve this stuff. And, you know, what would you think? What would he think of you in, you know, 10 years time if he could see you if you let him down, right? You've just got to think of stuff like that. So they're the probably, yeah, they're the main things that I wanted to talk about in this video that I've planned out for you guys. So that now closes this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed, you truly learned something, and you feel a little bit motivated. You know, I hope I've given you that fire inside you in order to smash your week, you know, whether it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or even the weekend. Just go out and smash it, do what you need to do, whether you feel like it or not, and, you know, chase your goal, okay? If you guys have enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a like, a comment, and a subscription down below. It helps me massively, and, you know, the algorithm can recommend me to you more, so I can teach you more, and I can help you and more skinny guys like you who want to bulk up, change their lives. So without further ado, I will see you guys in the next video.